This is the introduction to the guitar. My name is Walter Paratiatko, and I'm going to be doing a series of videos that will take you through the guitar and how to play it and all the problems and solutions there are to playing it and some of the music that people like to play, especially that I like to play. We are on the very first video, and it's called the introduction to the guitar, which I will start out by first naming the parts of the guitar. As you can tell, this is the guitar, and these are the parts. This is called the body. This is called the neck. This is called the headstock. This white thing over here is called a nut. You can call me a nut too, because I'm actually kind of nutty about the guitar. And these are the strings. This is the bridge. This is the sound hole. And when you strum a string or a chord, set of strings, the sound goes into the guitar, gets amplified, and comes out the sound hole. And these are frets that you put your left hand fingering on. And sometimes you'll see with frets that there are designs, and they call that inlays, and it can be very decorative. So you have your frets, and there are little dots too. I don't know technically the name of these little dots, but there are visual dots, or dots that you visually can look at and know where to place your fingers on when you want to. One thing I forgot are the tuning pegs. So you need to keep your guitar tuned, and this is how you do it. You use tuning pegs. So those are basically roughly the parts of at least this guitar. Now other guitars will have different things to it, parts to it. One will be a pick guard, a whammy bar system, a locknut tuning, and that keeps your guitar locked in tune. And other things that people would like to add to the guitar. Sometimes they'll add a decoration to the guitar, and so they can look very funky and neat. So this is the guitar. Now point two, I'm going to say when you buy a guitar, you should get one that feels comfortable over one that looks great. I'm not saying you don't buy a guitar that doesn't look great, but be sure comfort is your first main thing, because if you have a guitar that is not comfortable, you're going to struggle with it. And so regardless of how it looks, people will see you are having a hard time. Point number two, when playing the guitar, be sure to look to the size of the guitar, the weight. Some guitars are very heavy, the shape of the guitar, and that it feels right when you are holding it or balancing it on your body. There are also different types of necks that you could see in a guitar. Make sure that your hand is able to go around the neck easily. Some necks are bigger or wider, so be sure your hands can move easily. And there is also called the string action. Now, string action is basically how far are the strings from your fret. And sometimes they can be so far that it's very hard to press down on a string. Now you can control the string action. There are certain things you can control and other things that you just have no control about. So just be careful and be aware of what some of these things are. Point number four is see the difference between an acoustic guitar and an electric guitar. They are basically the same animal. You can play anything. You can play rock on an acoustic guitar. You can play country on an electric guitar, or you can play classical on an electric guitar. So it doesn't matter what you are playing. Basically, you can play anything you want on any guitar you want. Now you can play it using either your fingers or using a pick. I would recommend starting with a pick, and it gives you more clarity. I don't have one right here at the moment, but it gives you more clarity and loudness. And so you want to get used to also the feeling of playing with a pick. It's a different feeling than playing with your fingers. So on to point number 5. And Point number 5 is an interesting point. Ask yourself, what styles do you want to play? That will determine whether you need a pick or just to use your fingers. Most styles will use a pick, and certain styles won't. Classical will definitely not use a pick, and flamenco definitely not use a pick. So if you ever have to do classical exam and they see you with a pick, you will fail. So that's no joke. If the strings are hard to press down, try using a lighter set of strings or changing the action. As I said before, you can move the strings up and down judging by the nut here. So that is where you can have change done to your guitar. You don't want the strings so low if you're finding it a hard time to press down on strings so low that it's going to cause a buzz. This I recommend is start at the beginning at the foot of your neck and just go up the neck like this every fret to see that nothing is buzzing. Because some frets can buzz and you that will not sound nice. So you don't want to buzz. Point number 7, you also get sore fingers by playing the guitar, but that goes away in time, so that's nothing to really worry about. It reminds me of the Beatles saying, "I've got blisters on me fingers," and that's what they're talking about. Fingers getting sore from playing the guitar. Now be sure the guitar is in tune. Otherwise it can sound awful and you may think yourself playing it is the cause of why it sounds awful. It's not. The guitar just is out of tune. My guitar's in tune. I'm not going to put it out of tune so you can hear what an out of tune guitar sounds like. But if you did, you just monkey around with these tuning pegs here and your guitar will go out of tune. So you want to keep your guitar in tune, and one of the best ways is to get a tuner. If you buy your guitar, buy a tuner. And some guitars come with a built-in, as you can see with my guitar here, it has a built-in tuner. And so I can press this button, I can see the E string, and I can tune right up to that where that note should be. Now the sound of the guitar is very, very important. So you want to buy a guitar that you like the sound of. Be sure the fingering is right for you first of all. They say the sound is also depending on your hand, how you move your hand. So be sure also to think about your fingering. Thinking as well as how right is the guitar for your body. You don't want to have it be too heavy or your hand reaching for notes that you find it uncomfortable. So just to keep these points in mind, buy a guitar you like the sound of and be sure that your hands and your body is right for it. Now acoustics guitars like this one is a more practical guitar when you start out. One of the reasons why is you can easily take them around with you, whereas when you have an electric guitar you have to play it through an amplifier. You have to get electricity for your amplifier or some battery system. So with acoustic guitar it's no problem. Just put it in a gig bag and off you go to your friends so you can play your guitar with your friends. Whereas electric guitars are not quite that way. I would also say, point 11, get a case for your guitar. It's a case will help sustain the wood because these guitars are made of wood. And if you buy a used guitar, that could be a great deal. Don't let the fact that this guitar is used disenchant you from the guitar. Or sometimes the used guitar is a better guitar because the wood has settled in. And actually you can see guitars that are from the 60s that are incredible price, and they are used guitars. When choosing a guitar in a music store, let the guitar, now I say this very metaphorically, so don't take me literally true. Let the guitar choose you. Guitars can be like women or soulmates, and if they like you, they will do everything to help you play your music that you want to play. If they don't like you, they will give you a hard time with your music. So some guitar players can grab a guitar and play it effortlessly just because it's just the way they are. So some people are just the way they are. So I'm comparing guitar players to seducers, and they also seduce the audience too. If you hadn't noticed, a guitar player will seduce an audience, will seduce the ears of an audience and keep you very much interested. But the guitar, you go back to point one, is you don't want to fight the thing. You want to be as comfortable and relaxed as possible, because there's a lot of things going on with the guitar. You might use it for singing or accompanying other people, so you don't want to be thinking of how hard it is to play this guitar when you're in the middle of a performance. And when you buy a guitar in a music store, there are certain things you might be able to do, and one is deal with the music store. You can, what I mean deal is that you can, ask for, a case, have them throw in a case or a strap or picks, or maybe even a tuner. If they think you're serious about buying that guitar, they will kind of, some will, I wouldn't say all, but some will usually do that kind of thing because they want your business. And one of the best things to offer is cash. You're in a music store. That's what happened with me. I saw a Les Paul back in 1978 in a music store, and he said, "This is the price." And I said, "Well, what happens if I pay you all cash?" And he said, and he took it down by hundreds. So he took it down to $200 less just for a cash deal. So I'm just saying you can get away with very good deals in a music store, depending on sometimes the person you're dealing with and the situation. Okay, so these are the points of the guitar. My first video on guitar. I'm going to be doing probably about 19 more videos taking you through my lifetime of guitar playing and showing you what I have learned during my life with the guitar. Guitar is a very nice companion, and you can accompany yourself, and it's a very, very, very warm, I wouldn't say person, but some people treat them as a person. Like they'll call them names like B.B. King, his guitar is named Lucille. So he has a very personal relationship with it, and that's what you can do too. Les Paul he's dead now, but he had a very personal relationship with his guitar. So anyway, I wish you the best of luck, and stay tuned for more videos that will touch upon guitar. Thank you. Two is when you buy a guitar, get one that feels comfortable. Yes, and my cat is just telling me the same point here. Get one that feels comfortable, and instead of one that just looks great. You may be tempted to buy you may be tempted to buy one that looks great. Not to say you can't buy that, but be sure it's comfortable.